Welcome back to the Best of 91X podcast, this time covering September and October of 2023. No more Justin and Liz, it's me, Roman, and
Sam.
We've taken over the podcast. And by taken over, I mean we are the only ones here to do it. We're the only second-year radio students here at Loyalist College, Belleville. Sam, I just want to get right into it. So you and I have alternated shifts. We've both done mornings and we've both done afternoons for the last few weeks.
Yes, indeed.
I wanted to kick off with a question, and a genuine question, because I've been wondering this because we've both been doing this. Mm-hmm. Which do you prefer?
Afternoons. If we're being real, 5 a.m. waking up is just insane to me. It's okay. Morning shifts are not bad because there's no one else in the building.
Exactly.
There's no one to annoy you. And like there's no carts rolling past.
It's really peaceful.
It's peaceful. It's chill.
It's chill.
But afternoons, man, like you get out of class and you like have a shift in an hour and then that's it. Like you got a 3-hour shift after class and that's it. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so nice. It's just you're more awake, you know?
Yeah, I think I do a better performance in afternoons for sure because my voice is fully warmed up. And like I'm ready to like be there.
Absolutely.
And I think my favorite part of afternoons is just being able to like go to bed later than 9 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate going to bed at 9 p.m. It is the most depressing thing when you're talking to your friends online and they're talking about, oh, what are we going to do tonight? I'm like, I'm going to bed now.
Yeah.
There is no tonight.
There is no later. Yeah.
I eat dinner. I maybe talk to my parents on the phone. I have like an hour to watch YouTube and then show prep. Because that's another thing. You have to prep way more. Oh, well.
Not way more.
Not
just
way
like
more. Way earlier.
Way earlier, yeah.
Because today, today when we're recording this, I have afternoon shift. I've written some of my stuff, but I can write like almost all of it before the shift begins because I just have time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I agree that afternoons are certainly the winner when it comes to like in general. But mornings, at least you get it out of the way. That's the only upside I can think.
Yeah. Like a Monday morning, we have our shift and then an hour of class, and you're done.
Exactly. So in that case, it's a little nicer.
Yeah.
But afternoons win. We've been talking, but we should probably actually listen to some stuff because it's the Best of 91X podcast, not the Best of Us on 91X.
Of course.
And I want to start simple with PSAs.
Okay.
We made PSAs that are both live on air. I don't know if I've actually heard mine. I'm kind of glad I don't.
I don't know if I've heard mine either.
Because it's always awkward. I don't know if they play when we're on air. I have no idea. But I want to listen to them for a couple of reasons. Number one, we did different organizations. So it's like it's different stuff. It's not like, okay, we did the same thing. It's going to sound similar.
Yeah.
But also, you had a little interesting thing with your PSA.
Yeah, it was really cool.
The aftermath.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. So before we talk about, we can listen to mine because mine is mine. We can talk about it. We'll talk about yours, then the special little tidbit after that.
Okay.
Okay. We've all been hungry, but have you ever gone days or weeks carrying that feeling, never fading? Maybe you haven't, but many in Belleville face it every single day. Last year, almost 10,000 adults and over 5,500 children in Belleville were in need of food services. The good news is, you can help. Gleaners Food Bank strives for a community that is hungry no more. With drop-off locations at every grocery store in Belleville, every little bit counts. To learn more, visit gleanersfoodbank.ca.
Okay, that was really cool. Not only because Gleaners is, a really good institution in Quinte, but also I like the way it started off with a stomach rumbling, which it's really it's a instant. You instantly know what it's about to talk about, and also like it's just so like visceral. It's like a visceral, like if you hear someone's stomach rumbling, you're like, oh,
you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also like the clock ticking.
That was something I added like at the end because it needed some background noise, and I knew I wanted like ambience, but then it ended up being for the entire duration of the spot, the 30 seconds. It's always,
which is like, it's kind of. It's a really great addition, especially if you did it right at the end, just because it kind of makes you think, like, while you're talking about kids being hungry, it's like, oh, the clock is still ticking.
Yeah.
They are still hungry, you know?
Yeah, it was sort of this symbolic thing where I was like, it makes you kind of pay attention because it's like a clock ticking, people like rhythm and you sort of like get into it. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, it's symbolic of just what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sort of, at first I really didn't know what I was going to do for the PSA. And then I thought, we've all been hungry.
Yeah.
And like when you get a first line, it's way easier to write the rest.
Absolutely.
So I started with that and it was like, okay, here we go. We're good.
So what came first, the first line?
The first line.
Gleaners?
The first line was first. And then I was like that's, because like that's a food bank thing. Gleaners is the food bank of Belleville.
Yeah.
There we go. I have my thing. The rest, I could just go on their website, find their information. The rest was easy to write.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just getting the first line and then the ticking really completed it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's mine. Yours.
Want to roll mine?
Yours was
Crime Stoppers.
Crime Stoppers.
Quinny Crime Stoppers.
All right.
Is there crime in your area? Are you scared to talk to the police about it? Crime Stoppers Quinny was made to help you. Like other Crime Stoppers organizations around the world, Crime Stoppers Quinny is a program that allows community members to provide anonymous information about criminal activity. You can donate, become a volunteer, or submit an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers Quinny at their website, or submit a tip by calling 1-800-222-8477.
So I didn't even realize this till now, but you also have like a rhythm thing going on with the music.
Yeah, it's a music bed. Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, like it doesn't sound like music. It's sort of like ambience.
It's a mix because it's an ambient sound, but it's got like a punching.
It's exactly like it's a sound effect because you play the cop siren.
Yeah.
And that sort of pairs with what you're talking about. It's like pause, cop siren gets your attention, but then throughout the entire thing you have that thumping, dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And it makes it really feel serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think I went for a silence ambience. You went for like sort of like a catching your attention.
Yeah, kind of in your face.
Yeah, like okay, there's crime.
Yeah.
But okay, this is all interesting. But I can't get over the fact that you got contacted because of this.
I did. So yeah, when we made these PSAs, our teacher Craig,
good old Craig,
sent them to who we made them for. So he sent yours to Gleaners.
Yep.
And they accepted it. They were like, "Yeah, we love it. Put it on the air."
Free promotion PSA. I was pretty sure they were going to enjoy it because it's free.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he didn't end up sending mine right away because, I don't know, he forgot. But later in the week, he sent mine, and they responded, like, almost immediately. And they were like, we love this. Not only do we love this, but we want to invite Sam to our next meeting. So I'm going to get to go to the Crime Stoppers Quinny meeting at the Belleville Police Station next Wednesday during reading week. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm coming down for my break to go meet them, see what's up. It's their board meeting, so, like, I'm going to meet the entire board and see how they operate, you know?
You get the full lay of the land.
Yeah, yeah. And I never thought that anything would come of this.
Exactly. You wouldn't think just one little thing we did, that you just happened to choose their organization, and then, boom, you make something that they're like, wow.
Yeah. Like, I made it, like, 15 minutes before it was due.
Exactly. And it's rare that you get that sort of instant gratification of like people care and notice.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing with working on 91X is it's not just like assignments. It's like you're doing work.
Yeah.
And then like people hear this.
Yeah. Like every day we're on the air and people are actually listening. It's like you don't really feel the effects because it's kind of a one-sided conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we do stuff like this, it's like, oh, no, there actually are people
I know.
listening,
It's weird.
You know? Yeah. Yeah.
So next up, I thought we should talk about regular shifts.
Okay.
Because this was production, but I want to focus on what we do every day, which
every
is
single day. Talk breaks. Yeah.
Before we listen, I want to start off with another question.
Okay.
Do you prefer doing them live, or now that we know how to pre-record them, voice track, do you prefer voice tracking?
I'm not sure. I think live is very cool. It's nice to, you know, just sit in front of a board and just feel like you're actually doing it. Because, like, when you're pre-recording it, it's like you're just speeding through it.
Exactly.
To get it done.
You're doing 3 hours in 1 hour.
Yeah. But, like, at the same time, pre-recording is just so easy and so, like...
It's efficient.
It's so efficient.
Because, like, sometimes I have to pre-record. Like,
yeah, for class.
Tuesdays, I have to pre-record.
Yeah.
And so I do it in the morning. That means I prep earlier, so I'm all ready to do it, then I do it, then it's just off my chest.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it. And it's like, I really like that, but live has certainly got this aesthetic and this vibe where, excuse me, I had been stifling that burp for like the longest time. That's like what happens on air too. Have you ever had that happen where you have to burp?
A cough, for sure.
I don't have, for some reason, when I sit in the booth, I'm slouched.
Yeah.
And then the second I know that I have to talk in about a minute, I stand up straight or I sit up straight. For some reason, that destroys my bodily functions and like instantly makes me need to burp. So I'll hit the on mic and I'll just do a minute of talking the entire time needing to burp. The second the mic goes off, I gotta belch. It's awful. I'm always worried that I'm gonna mess up and like, yeah, that's just a little tangent. But you know, I like the conveniency of pre-recording, but live, when you do a good talk break, you feel really good.
You know it, yeah.
You turn the mic off and you're like, okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah.
And you just feel good about how you prepped and all that.
Yeah.
So I think we agree that live definitely feels better. Mm-hmm. So follow up. What about production?
What do you mean?
Well, live is sort of this instant gratification, whereas production is like, it's a process.
It's a process, yeah.
And we've done some production stuff. And going into radio, I was thinking about live. I didn't think about production as much. But production was something I had done a little bit before. I had done produced things, audio, video. Do you like production more than being on air? Do you like making ad spots and recording yourself and then editing it? Or do you like doing like talk breaks?
I think so. I think it just comes from that part of me that likes making music. Like, the entire year before I came here was just all producing. So like I came in with that mentality of like, I love sitting down and like making stuff, not necessarily talking on the air, you know, just making audio things like ads, songs, stuff like that.
Like I agree, because before even doing stuff on 91X, I would have an idea for something to do with my friends. And then I would just go produce it. Like, I've produced a song for my friend because he was doing something dumb at the time. So I was like, I'll make a song out of this. I'll make a parody out of this. Or I'll make some inside joke even funnier by just making something.
Yeah.
And I think that process, I enjoy the process of production more than I enjoy the process of getting ready to do live. Even if live has the higher highs of doing a really good job.
Yeah.
When you...
Just because it's a different process, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for writing shows, it's research, it's writing it in a conversational way.
Exactly.
Towards one person,
Yeah.
which I never... There are so many things about writing for radio that I never realized.
That was the big one.
But, like, you inherently understand it because you hear it every day. Like, people talk...
It's subconscious.
Yeah. But, like, you just never realize it. And, like, learning about it, it's such a different process that you have to understand. And, like, it's so different from producing. Just because producing is, like, you're right. It is a lower high. But it's almost the same amount of satisfaction when you finish something that you've been working on.
Yes.
Just because you finished something you've been working on, right? Like...
Yeah. It's like this ramping up of just like, it keeps getting more enjoyable the more you work on something, because it all starts with like an inspiration or idea. Even if you're told to do something, you're creative about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just ramps up. So when you finish it, you feel just as good as if you did a really good break.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the process. That ramping up is really enjoyable. Choosing the music, choosing the sound effects, editing my voice, giving the vocal performance, and being able to do multiple takes and try out different things. And we're going to get to later in this podcast, we'll listen to some other production stuff where I tried out a couple different things. And my final product, I'm really proud of because I did something different than my initial take. But yeah, I think we both feel that production, there's something really natural about it.
Yeah.
That we both just enjoy it on this fundamental level. That even if live is great, and I think live is a great opportunity, production overall is a really just enjoyable thing to do. It's never a stress.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's never a stress.
Yeah.
You're never writing a break 1 minute before it airs. Well, we've talked about breaks. We should listen to some breaks.
You want to play some?
We can start with mine, I guess.
Sure.
St. Samuel, Like You Like That on Quinty's new rock source, 91X. It's 7:23. Hope you're having a good morning. I'm Roman. What sports do you play? They say soccer is the universal sport, so maybe that's most common. We're in Canada. Hockey's got to be up there. Baseball, volleyball, football. Wait, Canada. Curling. It feels pretty overlooked sometimes. Well, you're invited to stop by the Quinty Curling Club this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. or Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. to try curling absolutely free. Volunteers will be on hand to introduce the fun of the game. All you need to bring is a pair of clean shoes and enthusiasm. If you're interested or just curious, there's no better way to make the winter fly by. Visit quintycurlingclub.ca for more information about the club, the game, this event, and more.
Okay, that was a good break. That was really cool.
That was a good break. That was a recent break, actually.
Yeah.
And the reason I picked this one is because the way I write breaks usually is I have something I'm going to talk about. Actually, I've gotten worse with this. I think when we first started on 91X, my creativity, the creative juices in the brain were flowing like crazy. Especially because we didn't even start on 91X. We started on our little online station, Hot Hits. Hot Hits has 2-minute breaks.
Yeah.
Talking for 2 minutes is a lot longer than 1 minute.
Yeah.
And I got really good at doing 2 minutes because I would just have to vamp. You just have to talk about stuff. It's like doing a podcast in a very short form. You have to go through this whole journey. 1 minute breaks, I've become very attached to the idea of here's my intro, here's relatability, then here's our event. And maybe end off with relatability. But it's definitely that sort of two-act structure of beginning with like, hi, I'm the guy, you're a person, let's talk about something, and then end with, here's an event that relates to it.
Right.
And here's an example where I think I did an all right job, especially because this is a free event, it's for the community. No one's paying money for this. I'm like, hey, sports are a thing, let's talk about sports. You get in the mind, it gets the viewer thinking about sports. They're thinking, okay, what's a sport that is Canadian? Oh, not hockey. Okay. Soccer's universal sport. Yeah. Curling. And I do that whole song and dance of like, okay, we're getting here. And then boom, there's free curling. So it's top of mind. Like, okay, I'm talking about it. Here's an event. Do you write breaks the same way?
Kind of. I am in the same way of like the intro, kind of teasing it a little bit, relating it to them, and then fleshing it out, and then kind of just cutting right to the music.
Right.
So, like, yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I'll say my name, what just played, and then it's like just teasing it a little bit, like the main point of it. Just teasing it as I go through.
The listener has to think in their mind, okay, I think I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. And then like, when you get to the end of it, it's just like, yeah, that's what I was talking about. And also, this is where it happens and when it happens.
Yeah, you have to put that stuff in there.
Yeah.
And making that natural is always better than not.
Yeah.
You don't want to sound like you're reading anything, but of course you always have your talking points. We can listen to one of yours, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, that was a really good one from you, if I do say so myself.
Sir.
Let's listen to a really bad one from me.
Awesome.
This is the first talk break of the year. Ever.
You know what? I think I listened to this yesterday and I was very happy. I was very happy that this exists. Yeah.
Alternative Radio 91X, that was the Royal Foundry with Listen to the Beat. My name is Sam, coming all the way from Loyalist College. Speaking of Loyalist College, the college has prepared a huge number of activities this semester for new and returning students to have fun with, including with the Shark Tank Social tomorrow at 11 a.m. This is a great way to meet new people and, just explore the pub on campus. Also tomorrow is the tryout for the men's and women's varsity volleyball in the evening. So if you're active and want to play for the school, come try out. Later in the week, there's a service fair at the Shark Tank patio on Wednesday that starts at 11 a.m. And both I and the other radio student, Roman, are going to be there in person. So this is a great chance to learn about the services that Loyalist has to offer, and you should come out if you're looking for some specific, or even if you just want to meet us, you know? Finally, this week ends with a hypnotist comedy show at the Shark Tank pub on Friday. Doors open for that at 7 p.m. I went to this event last year, and it wasn't really at all what I expected, but it was still really, really funny. So be sure to come out to these and all the other events Loyalist has to offer. You can find more at loyalistlife.com. Okay, so that was...
I really enjoyed that.
That was an experience. Yeah, so I think I had a stroke before I recorded.
It sounded like you It sounded like you got kidnapped out of bed and they threw you in front of a microphone and like told you, read this, and you're like, okay, Loyalist College, yeah.
That was at 3 p.m. My first shift was an afternoon shift, bro.
Yeah, I thought that was like beginning of the morning, like,
no.
Oh, you're so out of it. Nope.
No, that was
3 p.m.
Yeah, so I feel like I've gotten a lot better since. Just because, like, you know, it sounded like I was reading. First off,
yeah,
it just sounded like
it sounded like you're reading, and it kept going like, okay, we're at the end of the point. Next point, we're at the end of the point. Next point.
Yeah. Like that's one thing that Greg, when in our air checks, told me about is like, don't do a laundry list.
Yeah.
No one wants a laundry list.
Yeah,
you know?
because the person knows exactly what you're doing. You are reading a list of things that are happening.
Yeah. So it's like, talk about one thing, expand on it, make it relatable.
One subject, 1 point, one action for the listener.
Yeah. I did not do that during that break.
But you also weren't really there mentally at all.
No. No, it sounded like I was reading. It sounded like I didn't want to read it. You know, it just wasn't a good break.
Yeah, it was just sort of like, it doesn't excite the listener at all. If the very best, it is funny.
Yeah.
Especially with the beginning of messing up, right? That's like the worst, is if you mess up at the beginning or the end.
Yeah.
I've messed up at the end before, and you just have to go, you have to hit the next button.
Hit play, yeah.
You have to play the song. You can't just be like, I'm sorry. No, you have to go. You have to press the next button, and then it's like you have to live with that till next time you talk, and it's really awkward because then I think, what if the same listener hasn't stopped, and then I come on next, and it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like you just be like, oh, and that was July Talk. Da 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 da. Here's the, and it's all fine. It's like awkward, but you just got to live through it.
And you know, you live and you learn, you get better as it goes on.
Yeah.
I feel like we've both gotten better since September.
I've been listening to my stuff from last year.
Oof.
I think content-wise, I was doing all right, but it really was just, I wasn't playing around enough with how I was like talking.
Yeah, like we just didn't know how to talk.
Yeah.
You know? We were still learning.
And direct, like how I was talking, what I was talking about, like make it interesting.
Yeah.
It was very just cut and dry. But like, I think the writing techniques I want to bring back from that time, where I would really pull from anywhere. Nowadays, I really focus on local, and local is really fun and easy and nice. But yeah, pulling from just your life.
Yeah.
I did a lot more back then.
Yeah.
So that was a break. That was live. We've listened to PSAs produced, but PSAs were different subjects. And our breaks were also whatever, because we're always doing different stuff. I thought it would be cool to listen to something that's similar, something we've both done, but it's about the same thing. So we've listened to our PSAs, both produced things, and we've also listened to our talk breaks, which are, again, they're live, but we're doing different things in both scenarios. We chose which organizations we're doing our PSAs on. We chose what we're talking about, and it's always different because the world keeps going. We have to talk about it. I thought it would be cool if we talked about something that was similar, something we both worked on individually, different things, but about the same subject. Specifically, I'm talking about our promos we just did, fresh off the press, for the Loyalist Lancers, our sports team here at Loyalist College.
Right, the basketball game.
Specifically for basketball games coming up next month. Mine was next month. Was yours November as well?
Yeah, the day after yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we both did Loyalist Lancer games. We're both the day apart. So very similar in terms of what we're talking about. Just slightly different scripts. I think I actually checked yours. And yeah, yours was because it's a different team. So you got to talk about different stuff. But for mine, we can just listen to it and then we'll talk about it.
Loyalist Lancers sports are back on 91X. From the field to the game, showcasing the best of OCAA student athletics. November 10th at 6. It's Lancers women's basketball versus arch rivals, the St. Lawrence Surge. Cheer them on live in the Lancer Dome, tune in on the radio on 91X, or watch the action on the OCAA stream at OCAAlive.com starting at 5:55. Tune in every week for the Lancers Game of the Week on the Voice of the Lancers, 91X.
That was cool. I like that voice you did.
So that's exactly what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So every time I go into the studio to do a production, I usually do the voice parts first because we have the script, or either we've written it or we've been given it. And I do the script usually in, the announcer voice. Usually, like, it's appropriate. For the PSA, I had to be sort of solemn, be serious. We're talking about real people here. For other things, it's kind of, let's get going, da-da-da. This, I did the da-da-da voice. I did, Loyalist Lancers at the Lancer Dome, da-da-da. And I thought it didn't have sports energy. It had announcer energy. It didn't have sports energy. And I'm really tired of just doing the same thing. I think it makes this sort of creative death, sort of.
Right.
So I just did another take, and I was like, okay, let's experiment with voices, because I've been getting real comfortable in the booth recently, because those new studios down in the Failsafe program here, or the Failsafe facility, they're soundproof.
They're nice.
They're really nice. They're soundproof. And so I'm like, maybe I can do whatever voices I want in here. So I've been doing funny voices and making stuff for my friends. And so this production, I was like, I'll just do a voice. And I thought about what I've heard on 91X. Craig, our good teacher, our mentor, does promos where he puts on the sort of that voice of like driving something home. And I wanted to try that. And I never really listened to myself doing it. So I went for that Loyalist Lancers. I can't even do it right now because it's kind of hard. And I've destroyed my voice. It's really not worth doing because if you do it for too long, it's just horrible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I went for a different approach, and I think it made something that was way more interesting and appropriate, especially for sports.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so for sure. Because like the way I did it, like I kind of just used my voice, and he was like, nah, you got to re-upload that. Like that's not good. Because like you're right. It's sports. It has to make them hype to go to it.
Yeah, and there's this sort of like, in your head, you have an idea of what a sports voice sounds like, and so especially stereotypes, like with movies and stuff.
Yeah.
People, it's the sort of this thing where stereotypes feed people and people feed stereotypes, and they sort of become one and the same, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But for this, it's kind of a good thing where people know what to expect for this, so if you give them that, they'll enjoy it.
Right.
So I really tried to give that drive, da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's like a motorcycle rally, a monster truck rally.
Like a Michael Bay movie.
Like a Michael Bay movie in audio.
Yeah.
I should have added explosions at the end. I didn't add any sound effects. I should have.
Okay.
We can look at yours.
I don't have mine.
You don't have yours.
Unfortunately. Yeah, like I said,
Fortunately.
I have to redo that. But what we can do, if you want, is we could play some more talk breaks if you have any.
Talk breaks are our bread and butter.
Yeah.
And I think we should listen to more live on air because it just helps us improve, I think, generally.
For sure.
So yeah, we can go for a talk break.
Okay, I've got a pretty good one I could play.
Because yeah, you showed us your worst.
Yeah, we'll listen to a good one right now.
A good one.
All right.
Alternative Radio 91X, that was Mono Whales with Hear Me Out. It's 7:50. My name is Sam, and you've heard of Ring, right? You know what that is? The video doorbell company? Well, they're doing something pretty cool and honestly kind of funny this month. Ring launched a competition this week with $1 million grand prize. They're looking for aliens. It's called the $1 Million Search for Extraterrestrials and encourages users of the Ring doorbell to capture, quote, unaltered scientific evidence of real extraterrestrial life form with their Ring device. Even if your Ring doorbell doesn't spot an alien, you can still get in on the fun. Ring is also accepting creative homemade interpretations of alien sightings. Users have been encouraged to dress up and reenact an extraterrestrial sighting on their security cameras. And for that one, you can be entered to win a $500 Amazon gift card. They're accepting submissions until November 3rd, so if you've got a Ring doorbell and feeling lucky, maybe you can get some alien footage. For more info or to submit clips, go to ringmilliondollarsighting.com.
Okay.
That wasn't bad. I feel like the mornings I still sound like I'm asleep.
Yeah, I have that sometimes, but I think the content here, this is my favorite type of content to do, which is, where did you find this? You just look it up?
I found it CTV News.
CTV News. See, I saw it on Twitter, and that's how I often get my non-local stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because Twitter, you get a lot of news, and we have a news netcast, especially in the morning. You don't want to cover anything that's serious.
Yeah.
But this is one thing where I saw it's funny, and I'm glad you talked about it because I didn't. It's just like, it's entertaining and it's interesting. Like, even if you were boring, which you weren't, like, it's just an interesting thing to talk about.
Yeah. Like aliens.
Like aliens. Like, it's funny, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
I like this type of talk break. And I think you did well where it's like, do you know Ring? Because that brings me in. Because, like, my parents own a Ring. I instantly know, okay, yeah, Ring doorbells. What's going on with them? And I had forgotten about this story when I listened to this right now. And then I was like, oh, right, the alien thing.
Yeah.
So it captivated me.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's a good example of a good break, especially with content and, like, weaving it in with relatability.
Right.
We can see one of my not so good talk breaks. I was looking for something solo, but I don't know if I have anything from recently that wasn't. I do a lot of flub ups, especially with words. That's my big thing.
Right.
How do you usually mess up? Because me, it's always like I mess up a word. Hopefully, I just redo the word and then keep going.
Yeah.
But I've had mornings where I'm really tired and it's like every sentence I mess up the last word or something. And it's just so awkward to keep going. But you have to get it through.
You have to push.
You don't want to make it like a 2-minute break of mess ups. You want to just be at a minute, whatever, we're messing up.
I think that's, if it's not like that for me, the other thing I mess up with is song and artist names.
Oh, see, I always try to pre-script it.
Yeah.
I try to pull all the things so I know exactly what's going to happen until literally, I think it was like this most recent Friday. That was a few days ago, 3 days ago. I had it written from yesterday. It was the Thursday script on my Friday script.
Oh.
I had changed all of the song names except for one. I went to it. It was the end of my break or the end of my liner. I said, oh, coming up is Blame Brett from the Beaches. I looked to the program. Oh, that's not it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, sorry, it's actually the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
So I had to like switch up, and it's really awkward to do that. But I usually try to just pre-do all the song stuff. Reading it off is also, it works. Like, that's what you do with the time a lot. I try to pre-write the time, but the time's always changing.
Yeah, the time changes.
It's never consistent.
It's so dependent on like how long Lindsay takes.
Yeah, if the news is long, if you're short, like it's all just this pain.
So yeah, you just glance over.
Yeah, you have to look at the time live. So I should really just do that with songs, and they'll never mess up.
Yeah, that's what I started doing.
Yeah, I think I might start doing that.
Just like, because like when you press the home button in Zeta, it auto scrolls.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So
you just scroll up once, so it doesn't move.
Yeah,
because like when it's auto scrolling and it goes into your talk break, that song disappears.
Oh yeah.
So like just scroll up one, it leaves it there. That's what I do.
So that was a good break. We should listen to a bad break of mine because we had a bad break of yours, good break. I had a good break. Bad break specifically from our 2-person show, which was just last week.
Last Wednesday.
It feels kind of distant, but also really close because it was a really good process, I think. And we can talk about
so much fun.
We're going to talk about that later. So right now, let's listen to the worst part of the 2-person show. July Talk GD Motherfire on Quinty's New Rock Source 91X. It's 9:52. Roman and Sam here in the morning. Here's an event that I've been talking about a lot, and each time I read the details, it gets me a little more hype. Sam, do you know what Diwali is?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is. Could you tell me what it is?
It's the Festival of Lights, the Hindu Festival of Lights, sort of like a good versus evil thing, the light over the darkness.
That's cool.
But it's a festival. Who doesn't like a festival? Festival means food. Festival means music. Festival means dancing. But I lost my train of thought.
Diwali. It's happening this weekend, right?
Is it this weekend? Which is weird because Diwali's in November.
The actual Diwali.
The actual holiday. But I guess in Belleville, they like having events every week. So this Saturday in Westwick's Park from 3 to 9, you get to have the celebration of lights. You have to have the Indian culture, the food, the music, the dancing. Every time there's a Indian event here at Loyalist, there's always dancing. They love like music and dancing, and it's so different than other like celebrations.
Yeah, and it's always a lot of fun, I feel.
Yeah, like it's always positive. It's not like the creepy sort of parties that some people hold where it's sort of like, do we like each other or are we just here to drink stuff?
Yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, so it's this Saturday from 3 to 9 in Westwick's Park. Get all the details at quintywest.ca. That was a thing.
That happened.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're being real, that wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but again, it's because you were there to like put me in the right direction. If you weren't there, I would have eventually gotten like, okay, Diwali. But like, at least it had like a timing. There was a beat there where I was like, what am I talking about? And then you say Diwali, then we're kind of back on.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened, it would have been like a bit too long of a silence of like awkward, like, oh.
Yeah.
And even after that, I could even hear in my voice. I remember I sort of like was glancing at like my notes and I was like, it's Saturday, this Saturday. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's like, the time.
It just threw you off.
Yeah, I don't know. I really just lost my train of thought. And that's what happens when I don't write out the transitions well. Because transitioning is like the most important part. Once you get into the thick of it, if you're talking about something, you can just talk about it. If you're talking about details, you're reading details. But to get between those two, that's where I just like messed up.
Right.
And it's sort of the rest of the break is sort of me just trying to like be like, okay, yeah, this is what's happening. And then you're just there to be like, yeah. It worked out. Certainly not. It was definitely the worst of the two-person shows.
I think so. Yeah. And it wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't even that bad.
Personally, I love the two-person shows.
We can talk about that right now.
Like,
we did two-person shows for 2 days.
Yeah.
Each an hour.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday of last week as we're recording this at 9 to 10.
I thought they were great.
I thought that was the best thing we've done, at least on airwise.
Like on air, yeah.
Definitely on airwise, because it just made everything so much more natural.
I think so.
Like,
just having each other to bounce off of.
It makes everything easy.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize how morning shows are so successful. Yeah. Because if you get two people who can do that for 3-4 hours.
I was just going to say, I think you and I could have talked for like 20
We could
minutes.
have. Like, let's make everyone's lives easier and just do two-person shows every day.
That's what I'm saying. Come on. Greg. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is not our this is not the HR podcast where we voice our grievances with the staff. The best of staff complaints on 91X podcast.
At least if we get bad marks on this, they'll know we're having fun.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It's like we're having a good time. But yeah, two-person show.
Okay. Personally, like I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so much like.
It just went by so fast.
Yeah, I think we both said both
shocked.
days like, oh, it's 9:40.
Yeah.
Where did that time go?
We'd get to the last break, and by the last break, it felt like we'd done nothing.
Yeah.
Which was surreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, even my parents who listen in almost every time I'm live, if they can, they heard that and they were like, wow, you guys actually could like converse. Mm-hmm. There was chemistry. And I was like, yeah, I was shocked because usually that is hard. Like I've talked to randoms. I call people randoms. I don't know why. But I talk to random people, and it's like, it's just awkward because you're trying to like make it work. But we've done enough work together, and just being in the studio, it sort of felt natural to just like, we're doing our thing. We're talking.
I think so.
And especially because we had breaks where we could talk about stuff. Do you have a break from the two-person show you want to share? Because I know one that was good. It was your show when you were board hopping.
I didn't pull it, but
I can.
Yeah, you play it.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Alternative Radio 91X and 939. That was the Dirty Nil with Nicer Guy. My name is Sam. Still here with the great Roman.
Yellow.
Roman, I've got a two-pronged question for you here. Do you like heist movies? And what would you do with $20 million?
Okay. To the first question. I love heist movies.
They're great, right?
They're great because every man wants to plan a heist and do it with his friends.
It's just like an intrusive thought that always comes.
Exactly. When you're in a bank, you're noting where all the cameras are and what the tellers are doing and how many tellers there are and when their manager is coming in. Anyways, with $20 million, there's a lot of things you can do with $20 million. You can live off $20 million.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe not here, but, you know, what I'd live off of it. I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah, you wouldn't do anything?
I mean, I do something.
Yeah.
But not...
All of your basic income will be covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, something pretty crazy happened at Pearson International earlier this year that literally sounds like the plot of a 90s heist movie. Over $1 million in U.S. bills and 400 pounds of gold was stolen from an Air Canada hangar in Toronto's International Airport in early April. Apparently, what happened was when the plane unloaded and moved to the hangar, someone just walked in the hangar and grabbed it. They gave Air Canada a fake manifest saying that the money and gold wasn't on there and walked out the front door. I mean, no security, nobody checked who the guy was. And he had to have known it was coming in, right?
Yeah.
Like, be honest with me, Roman. You lose $20 million off a plane, what are you doing? That's uncopable, right? Like, how do you recover from that?
400 pounds of gold?
Yeah, it was about 19 million.
400 pounds of gold.
How do you even walk out, like, with 400 pounds of gold?
Exactly.
You can't carry that.
It's too much. This is like, it's so simple to like do it. He just comes in there, hey, here's a fake thing. And if you're in the right place at the right time, it's not that hard. But to get out?
Yeah, how do you think there was like a souped up car with like graded, like...
It has to be.
I don't know.
But then what do you do?
Yeah, you can't sell it. You have to like find a place to melt it.
You put it
right?
on Kijiji? 200 pounds of gold? Text me only real offers, please.
Yeah. Oh. How do you... I don't know. I don't think I could have planned a better heist myself, but I digress. Coming up next, weather on 91X.
Okay, so that was a really long talk break, but that just shows, like, the power of a two-person show.
Exactly. Like,
it was so conversational.
I know. Like, you would do your intro, and you'd mention the story, and then you just throw it to me, and then we're just going.
Yeah.
And then that happened twice. The first time was with heist movies, and I give my spiel about wanting to do a bank heist.
Which, no, actually, okay, the fact that you said when I'm in a bank, I'm checking where the cameras are.
I was thinking of, like, Grand Theft Auto, okay? I was thinking about doing a heist and, like, just doing all the pre-work. Like, it would be so... I've seen, like, one Ocean's movie.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me to want to, like, just be like, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yo, you are too into this idea
so
for your
cool.
own good, bro.
You know.
Yeah, so yeah, I threw it to you, and then it was just super conversational.
Then we come back to the story. We mentioned the $1 million and the gold, and then instantly when you said the gold, I was like 400 pounds of gold. That's so ridiculous. We do a bit of banter, and then I finally get to hit the Kijiji line because my dad's been selling stuff on Kijiji, and I thought, okay, what if you sold 200 pounds of gold on Kijiji?
Yeah,
and it worked.
It was a great break.
It worked, and we got out in just a laugh fit, which works.
Yeah.
When the talking is done, you can tell that we've had a good time, and the listener would have a good time. and then you get out. It's like, okay, I don't know, bye-bye.
Yeah, yeah, you
Bye-bye.
just cut to song. Yeah,
It works instead of having like an outro, it's just like, we're done. We've taken the break to the level we want to, and then we don't overstay our welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 2-person show, best thing we've done on air.
I think so.
We've been going for a while.
Yeah.
And we've had a really good conversation. Like, this has flown by. I don't even know what time it is, but it doesn't really matter. I got time before my next shift. I can write it later. But this has been a good podcast. The third episode of the 91X podcast. Before us was Justin and Liz, who we've seen Justin around.
Justin has been around.
We've done voice work for him. Actually, you know what? Next podcast, I was thinking this is a teaser for the next podcast. Actually, we need to listen to the things we've done for Justin. I did one thing, and we together did another thing. The Restore.
Yeah.
Ad. So next time on the 91X, the best of 91X podcast, we can listen to those. Any final thoughts?
I had fun. I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
To hear, I don't want to leave this off, you know? I just think we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and we'll be back.
We'll be back. So be sure to be back for the next episode. But in the meantime, I'm Roman.
And I am Sam.
And we thank you for listening to the best of 91X podcast. That's all, folks.